All right. Before we move on to our next segment,
So hang on. Before we
Okay,
do
go
that,
ahead.
I want to go back to the comment you made about Shohei Ohtani, feeling like Shohei Ohtani might be the best player of all time.
All right,
Are
let's
you
go.
are you basing that on stats, or are you basing that on just the impact?
I'm I'm basing that on the two-way player, right? I mean, by the time we haven't seen a two-way player since
I like the smirk on Sean's face.
Well, I
which
love when Harrison is like clearly setting you up. Like, are you basing that on stats? Because I have stats that are going to show you he's not. But go ahead.
I mean he's got 7 years left on this contract. Who knows if he plays after that? He could. But if he comes back and pitches and puts up Cy Young caliber seasons in the next, I'd say 4 or 5, yeah. I mean, it's going to be hard to say that he's not.
All right, so statistically, he won't be the best, but you're saying the combination of everything would make him the best.
Absolutely. Because, yes, Babe Ruth was a two-way player, but how many years did he actually pitch? It wasn't a ton, right? It was like 3 or 4 seasons, I believe. I don't think he pitched for a long time. And I mean,
Yeah, I'd have to go back and look.
and I would too. But,
I only ask because Shohei's 30. He's 2 years younger than Judge. He's 100 home runs behind him. He has if he has 250 home run seasons again after this, then he'd be on par with where Judge is at 32. I think last week we talked about the ceiling for Judge is probably not that high. He's probably in the 500s. Fox Sports and ESPN think Aaron Judge is a 600 home run candidate. I mean, I hope we're wrong and he is, but so I think based
he
on
might
that,
have at this pace, dude. He might have 600 by the end of the season.
well, fair. I mean, he might be sitting at 400 and change, 400 next year, this friggin' rate. But
Right.
But anyways, so like you look at a guy like Judge, who's if Shohei's on the same pace as him and he's a 500 home run guy, that in itself gets you into the Hall of Fame. But it doesn't make you the best hitter of all time. You throw the pitching on top of that, and you want to make the argument that his overall impact was one of the highest of all time. I'd take that.
I'm not saying that he would be number one, but it would be one hell of a debate going forward for a lot of people, especially, us being in the modern era of baseball.
Yep.
Like, yeah, you have the older baseball fans that are always going to say Babe Ruth, Willie Mays, which it's hard to argue against. Nick Arno, right? It's hard to argue against those three guys being the best baseball player of all time. But when Shohei's career is done, and we look back and see what he actually did, and all his peers are in absolute awe of what he does on the field. Are we looking at potentially the number one player? I think we could be.
So let me ask you guys this. How long, so let's assume Shohei Ohtani comes back next spring, healthy, good to go. How long is he a pitcher? How long do the Dodgers have him on the mound? Is it a couple years? Is it 5 years? Does he go all 7 years? Like, in reality, can a guy be 35, 36, 37 years old and trying to play both ways? Like, what's the length of time left for him as a pitcher?
I mean, I think it's a valid question. I think it's entirely going to depend on what he looks like next year. I think if he comes back beginning of the year, spring training, makes it through spring training, he's healthy, first month of the season, he's still ramping it up. Next thing you know, we're looking at August of next year. He's pretty much made every start. He's, upper echelon, maybe not Cy Young candidate, but like, kind of upper level. And if you're the Dodgers, you're looking at that going, okay, we could probably ride this for another 4 years, 5 years. I really don't know if you're getting to the end of that contract. I don't know how realistic it's going to be for him to play both ways and have like the difference that you're expecting him to make. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, you can't expect him to play both ways and be a 50-50 guy. Like
you could trot him out there.
Sure,
you could trot him out there. But like I don't know what would be more impactful. I would think it would be the bat, right? You're in the lineup every day. I mean, I would think that would be the more impactful position for him. So I would think that, after, probably 3-4 years of the pitching, and then you really have to make a decision and then just say, okay, I think this is our DH moving forward. That's the way I would look at it. I'm with you. I don't know how realistic you can expect 7 years from now at 30, he'd be 37.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a bit much.
So the question that I posed to you guys this week in the text
which was awesome,
was if if Shohei Ohtani comes back and they decide to put him in a closer role, right? So like, hey, we're gonna limit his bullets, but we want him to go max effort. But maybe we put him in the 8th, we put him in the 9th inning. My question is, with the position players pitching rule that is in effect, does that make him ineligible to pitch in those situations?
I mean, arguably yes, but I don't know. I mean, my guess is if the Dodgers are going to make that move, they're going to call the league and be like, "Hey, we need to tweak this rule and allow for some sort of use where it's at a particular time or particular type, we can bring him in." Because if you can't use Shohei Ohtani out of the bullpen and he's got to be a starter only, well, now it limits your options. Whereas if you can have him come in and be an 8th or 9th inning guy, you can trot him out there 3-4 times a week maybe, and let him just pitch.
Yeah, I mean, if that's something that the Dodgers want to do, and for the record, we haven't heard that, right, Nick? That was just an idea that you kind of threw out there.
It's an idea that I had. Like if I'm the Dodgers and I'm trying to preserve his bullets to give me the biggest impact, like,
I don't want people thinking that like the Dodgers are thinking about moving him to the bullpen.
Oh no!
It was just an idea that you threw out there, right?
Right.
Yeah. So I don't know, man. I think if the Dodgers called the league, and the league was like, nah, we like the rule, then that would be the dumbest decision they've ever made.
Yeah. We know MLB loves Shohei because he's on their Facebook page. Well, basically 7 times a day.
They should.
Oh yeah, he's the most marketable guy in baseball.
As it is, it's just like but they should.
Yep.
And if the Dodgers are thinking about taking a guy like that, putting him in the lineup every day to hit home runs, I mean, imagine the fun Major League Baseball would have with this. Shohei gives them the lead in the top of the 9th and then comes in to shut the door in the bottom of the 9th. I mean, how many times is that going to happen? That would be incredible.
Yeah, the headlines write themselves.
I mean, the league would be silly to even hem and haw over that. So if that's something that the Dodgers wanted to explore to maybe limit it or expand it by limiting the bullets, and maybe you do see him on the mound into the age 37 season, I could see that. And like I said, I think, in my opinion, the league would be so dumb to not allow that.
And you made a good point. Like, I mean, I've seen it numerous times. Was on your lineup card before the game, you can put like DH/shortstop or DH/center field.
Well,
so could you possibly put in DH/closing pitcher?
DH/CP? Yeah, I mean, I think if I'm the Dodgers, that's a question that I'm asking. And then, but if I'm the league, I'm now thinking, okay, so is that just a loophole that other teams are going to use? So every team that has like a Brock Holt is just going to put like second base/closing pitcher just in case. But, and if that's the case, then just get rid of the damn rule.
Right.
Yeah, right.
Like if that's a loophole you're going to open and allow, then just the rule just didn't work, and that's fine. But you know what I mean?
Yeah. So do you convert Shohei to pitcher and get rid of the DH, or do you take him out of the DH spot, put him as pitcher, and lose his bat?
Right.
You can't double switch like you used to. So
how
do you keep his bat in the game?
Right.
In case you go to extras and switch him in like that. That could be a bit of a puzzle for them to try to figure out, is how do you make that move?
Yeah, definitely.
It's kind of fun to kick around, though.
It is. Yeah. I would say if I'm the manager, well,
we know Dave Roberts will screw it up, so you should tell him.
But if I'm the manager and if I have to lose the bat and put him in a closer role, I'm going to bet that more often than not, he's going to close the door anyways, and it will be fine. And if we have a game where Shohei blows the save and we lose the bat, we probably don't deserve to win that game anyways.
Fair.
Now, that happens more frequently, then that's a discussion you have to have. But just with the pure stuff that this guy has, I mean, I can't imagine too many times this guy comes in the 9th and blows a save.
Well, and I'm thinking you don't bring him into the 9th in like a tie game, knowing that could be a problem. Like you bring him in when
Correct,
it's clearly a save situation.